how long it takes to make a video? Takes a long time. Takes a long time. All right, I have my notes. And the reason it takes a long time is the lighting changes as the daylight goes up or down. And you got to do the sound check. You got to make sure technology is working, everything's charged, the batteries are functional, et cetera, et cetera. All right, here we go. What is this video? This video is because I get a lot of questions regarding hula hoops, what to get, what size. And then when you start to look, you realize there's different material of hoops, different thickness of hoop, different thickness around. And the plastic itself, there's different thickness. So let's touch on a few things, and I'm going to try to answer all of your questions. Itchy nose. I'm going to try to answer all of your questions. Okay, I got notes so I don't forget anything, but I've tried the other 2 takes with the notes, and it didn't work. You didn't need to know that, did you? Keeping it real. All right, I want to do this in 1 take. So what do we have? We have 3 main materials that hula hoops are made of. And the 3 main materials are PE. The way to remember that is it's beginner dance hoop, if you will. There's HDPE, and that would be I call it the outdoor hoop. You can use it in different temperatures, but I call it the outdoor hoop. It's also the middleman as far as fabric or material goes. Then you have your polypro hoop, which is your off-body hoop. Let's go with that. So you've got your PE, beginner, HDPE, outdoors, and your polypro, off-body. It's just tips to remember what they are. So let's start with the PE. So I've got a few. They're all tangled up. I got a PE right here. PE. This is your beginner hoop. This material is the thickest, heaviest material. That's why we call it the beginner hoop, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go to Walmart or Dollar Store or wherever and get a child or kid hoop. They're meant for kids. They're meant for play. They're not meant for adult hooping, adult size hoop. You want an adult size hoop. The adult size hoop will be more of a weight and diameter that works for you as an adult, and the weight and the width of it makes it slower. It also makes it easier to keep up on your waist and slower when it goes around you or to learn moves. Or to learn hooping in general as well. That's your base. That's where you want to start your foundation. So this is the PE. Mostly it's black tubing. You can find it at the hardware store, like plumbing tubing. And it goes by different PSI. There's 3 mainly that are used for hooping, for making hoops. There's the 160 per square inch PSI. There's the 125 and the 100. The lighting changes when I move. It's getting dark outside and it's affecting the light in the window is different. So 160, 125, 100 PSI are the 3 mainly used for making hula hoops. The 160 is most of us find it too heavy to hoop with. It doesn't want to stay on your waist and it goes too slow. So it's counterproductive. So the 125, 100 are the best to make hoops with if you want to make your own hoop. And there's connectors you can buy that are not very expensive. I'm not going to go through the details of making a hoop, but there's connectors for tubing that you can buy. This one has 2, one at this end and one at this end. And the type of connector that it is, I can't disconnect it, but I can twist this little guy into a figure 8. Talk about that later. And the beginner hoops, you can also order them or make them decorated with tape. You can buy tape at your craft store. You can use electrical tape to color it. You can use duct tape. And you want to also use grip tape. We'll touch on that a bit more later. So material 1 is your PE. Next, you have your HDPE that I mentioned, that is your outdoor hoop. It's not just an outdoor hoop, but what it is great for outdoor hooping in cold weather. This is my HDPE hoop. It's actually white material, but it's covered in silver tape and pink grip tape. And because I love it, and because grip is nice when you're wearing thick winter coats. And I also, I wanted to make sure it stuck to me. I've got little grip tape on the inside too, because who knows what I'll be wearing outside. Anyways, so this is your HDPE. The reason I call it the outdoor hoop is the Polypro, which is the next one we're going to talk about. That one cracks. It will crack if it's in the cold. Can you hear the hoops banging around? It'll crack if it's in the cold. This is Polypro plastic here. It's lighter, it's bouncier, it's more flexible. It's also more fragile in the cold. This guy here is kind of the middleman between your PE and your Polypro. The PE could go in the cold as well, but the temperature does affect it. So it gets stiffer in the cold and more flexible in warm weather. So I like it in the summer. I prefer my Polypro in the summer. Whatever the fabric that you have, whatever material that you have for your hula hoop, a big no-no is to leave it in the car. Don't leave it in the car in the sun or in the cold, especially in the heat of the summer. Your hoop will warp. It won't. You want a hoop that's flat and round. So it'll warp in the car. You don't want to do that. So yeah, so this is your HDPE. It's kind of in between as far as the flexibility and stiffness and weight of it. It's lighter, more flexible, and more responsive for like tricks and stuff off body than the PE, but not as light, not as flexible or bouncy or responsive as your Polypro. This is another Polypro over here. This is another Polypro. See the difference? It's lighter. Polypro is lighter, more flexible, meaning it's faster. It's going to go around your body faster. It's going to go around your shoulders faster. So you can go quicker. You have to go quicker, but if you want to go quicker with tricks and stuff, you can go quicker because it's lighter. It won't hurt your body as much, and it will respond way faster because it's lighter. Hence PE for beginners, so you can go more of a pace where you can learn your basic foundation. I want to make sure I said everything about that. So let's talk about the sizes. So when you start to go into your Polypros, you can get different size of the actual tube. And there's the main ones. You have your 3/4. There's a new one, an 11/16. I put it away after the last take. There's an 11/16 over there. 11/16? Yeah, 11/16. It's a newer one. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the new favorites. There's the 5/8, which is the other favorite. And then there's the 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is quite small. Not very many people use it, but I wouldn't say that nobody uses it. The preferred sized hoops are the, statistic shows the 11/16 and 5/8 are the popular ones. Mine is a 3/4. I wish I knew what size my other one is. Not sure. Might be a 3/4. Might be a 3/4. If I compare them, pretty close. Yeah, it might be a 3/4 thickness. The 11/16 is a lot of fun. It's a little smaller, and the 1/2 inch is too small for me. I don't like that small, but personal preference. The other thing I want to touch on is the wide tape. So a lot of times you'll see the beginner hoops have tape. or the HDPE because it's a lot of fun. And the tape has purposes. One is to make your hoop pretty. So you can have all kinds of colors. You can pick the color of the tape that you want. If you're making it yourself, obviously. If you know somebody who can make it for you, who's used to making hoops, they maybe have a bunch of tapes that you could pick from. And when you order it from a master hoop instructor, master hula hoop maker, they have all kinds of options as well that you can request. So sadly, the one in the middle was my practice run. Sorry, this one down here, that was my practice run at taping. My first one. And we're going to put that one away. This one was ordered, GeoRev. I like GeoRev, Revolution. Her tag, her account on IG is GeoRev. This is actually a sectional. It has 6 pieces. It detaches in 6 pieces. And I'll talk more about that in a second. And then this one is I was going to say her name, but I didn't ask permission to say her name. I live in Greater Moncton area. I live in Dieppe, New Brunswick in Canada. This lady in Moncton makes hula hoops. She's a beautiful hooper and she loves to make hula hoops. And so if people around here want to get a hula hoop made, I've been ordering from her. So I tell her, I order the size that you want, the color tape that you want, and the type of tape, like if how much grit tape you want on it. And I pick it up for you. And if you are within driving distance to pick up the hula hoop at my house, it's my pleasure to order it for you. The hoops go between $30 and $40 Canadian. So yes, I will not say her name, but I have mentioned her on social media and tagged her. I'm sure she would be okay with me saying her name, but this is all over the world, so I won't. Okay, so that's that. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is when you make your own hoop, of course, you can get connectors. You can have connectors that never disconnect, and you cover it with tape like she did here, and it's seamless, which simply means that she didn't have to package this to send it somewhere. So she could do this with the hoop. And for traveling purposes, it's not a huge hoop. You can just stick it in your car and drive around. That's one. The other way you get hoops in the mail will be if you order a hoop online, what will happen is you will have a connector. So if it's a permanent, if it's a permanent connector, you'll have this middle piece here, and you'll have another same over here, another middle piece here. So you would have 2. This would mean it's permanently connected. You can't undo it. Mine has a plastic little knob. If I press on it, I can pop it open. This is plastic little connection here. So when I received it in the mail, it was coiled. I'm not going to do it. It was coiled itty bitty bitty, like half its size, coiled. So when you receive it in your package, coiled into a little package, you undo it. And then you find this little knob, slide it until it pops out of that little hole here. So I'm going to slide it in, press down, and push, and move it around to make sure it's in there so that when I hoop, it doesn't come apart. That's one way that you could receive your hoops, especially Polypro. My sectional, I have another one over there, 11/16 sectional. You might have seen that one on some videos, is like this one, has 6 pieces. Why 6? Could be 4. Geez, I don't take this one apart often, just a sec. So when you want to travel, you can you can undo it, and sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. And you end up with 4, 6 pieces like this. Stick it in your suitcase and you can travel with it. Easy peasy. That's why I like this too. And that's why I got it for all seasons as well. I can also remove a piece and make my hoop smaller by connecting these two. Or I can remove one more piece and then make it even, well, maybe not this one. Yeah, it should go smaller. Yeah, I could make it smaller. Make it smaller. Usually if it's a 6 piece, you can go as low as 4 pieces together. And I'll put it back together in a sec. That's one. Other. And then there's this one. So this one, like I said, there's 2 connectors and they're on opposite sides of the diameter, 2 little plastic connectors. And what happens is the tubing will twist around it. And let me go get 2 things. So the 11/16 that I was talking about is this one here. So I don't know if you can see the difference between the 3/4 inch and the 11/16. You can see that. And I've got 4 connectors here. And I've got the 2 others here for the 6 to make it as big as the other guy. And this connector is a little different. You can see the metal piece inside the tube. So the other one, the tubing was sticking out to here. This guy, you see the tubing stopping there, so you can see the metal bit. So when I push down, that's the metal part that'll stick out of the hole, right? When you put them together. So that's what I wanted to show you for that one. So the connecting tubing, so the ones with these connectors on either side, this is a PE. It would be on a PE. It would not be on a polypro. So this is on a PE. So on the PE, you would twist it. I usually do it standing. I'm twisting it and pressing down, and it's going to turn into a figure 8 like this. And then it folds into I got to twist the tubing into an itty bitty hoop like this. So this is PE with that special connector. It was just a plastic piece similar on both ends. You just slide the tubing onto it, and then to open it, gently open it. You want to be gentle because the tubing is twisting over top of that connector, right? And then when you open it up, same thing, there's twisting. You're twisting the connector, and then the shape's off a little bit, so you just play with it, get it back into its shape, and by hooping with it as well, it'll take its shape back. So I didn't do it. It's not quite flat. So you've got the different connections when you receive them. Either it's like I got mine that's local. It doesn't fold or disconnect to travel. And then when you receive them in a package, if it's just a normal hoop, it's got that little connector. It'll be coiled itty bitty. When you get it, you uncoil it, attach it, and then you lay it flat on the floor. So you connect it as the full hoop, lay it flat on the floor, leave it 24, 48 hours. It's kind of a breathing time for it to take its shape again, because it was traveling. It might have been in the cold, in the heat. You want to let it relax. And then once it's been flat for the 48 hours or so, hooping with it. The more you hoop with it, the more it'll take your shape, its circular shape, from the warmth of your body and the friction. And then the sectional ones, well, they come in sections, and then you just attach them. But I would do the same thing. Even though they're in sections, I would attach them all together into one whole hoop at the whole maximum size of it, the whole 6 pieces that you have, or 4, the maximum piece that you have, attach them all together, same thing, click them together, place it on the floor, let it breathe. 24 hours probably is enough, up to 48 if you find it's not enough. And same thing, you start to hoop with it and stuff, because you want your hoop to be flat and round. So that's why you don't want it in extreme temperatures, especially heat. The type of fabrics we touched on, and I have to look at my notes. Okay. Oh, I wanted to touch, we were talking about the tape, how it decorates your hoop. When you're making your own hoop or ordering a hoop, I'm not sure if I said this, but make sure that you're aware of how much tape you're putting on, because it'll cause it to be heavier. If you overdo it on tape, it'll be too heavy. So yeah, just be aware of that, the amount of tape you put on it. But if you have questions, your master hula hoop maker can answer all those questions. They're called master hula hoop makers because they've reached a level of mastery of making hoops. Now, so as well for the tape, the purpose of the tape is to decorate, but there's such a thing as grip tape, and they come in various colors. I got some pink one. The silver's decorative and the pink is grip. I've got different colors and different hoops. This one's pretty. This guy, see? The black is grip. This is a hoop waiting to be purchased. It's like bright yellowish green. You've got your black, that's grip tape as well. Just enough to grab your clothing or your skin. And then you've got the shiny purple and the more flat color. So you've got that option. You also have the option of putting it on the inside of your hoop. For example, I have a Polypro here. So this guy, it's got decorative tape. So obviously this tape here is more like a plasticky, no, almost feel like Scotch tape. So this tape here is really fragile. So if I scrape it against the deck or pave, I'll just ruin my tape. So one thing you can do is request clear tape to put over it to protect, extra protection for your decorative tape. The tape I have on here is, what do they call it? Morphing. I think I have it here. Color morph. So depending how you look at it, it might look pinkish. It might look bluish over here. Depends how you look at it. So it kind of morphs different colors. Sometimes it looks white. So for me, from the side right now, this all looks blue to me on the side, but not on the camera. A little bit. The other thing you want to do is grip tape. I have grip tape. Let me see. You see the blue. This is grip tape on the inside. The reason for that is hoops will tend to slide on different fabric and on skin. And when you're learning or in the flow, whether you're advanced or a beginner, you want your hoop to connect and stay on your body. It helps a lot to have grip tape. Those that choose not to have grip tape usually have it sanded or even waxed for some type of grip to their body and their skin, because yoga pants, it'll slide right off, you know, which brings me to a point that when you're learning to hoop, especially thigh hoop, knee hoop, shoulder hoop, chest hoop, the more skin exposed, the better, because you want to make it easier for you to learn. Once you've learned, you can wear clothing, you'll adapt. But for learning purposes, the more skin exposed, the better. There'll be a better connection point for your hoop, and it'll stay up instead of just whoosh, slide right down. There's also lead hoops like this guy. My batteries are dead. Lead lights on the inside. I got grip tape. This one's white. I don't know if you can see it. Nope, not really. Eh? You see the edge here. There's grip tape on the inside, just enough to grip. So I didn't want anything decorative because it's a lead hoop and it's got beautiful, beautiful colors. It's got a variety of sequences of display. So you can get some that are just bright white lights or just one color, pink, green, whatnot. You can have some that have like a sequence. They light up and it's like the colors chasing each other. I posted a little bit about this hoop here. It's got quite a few options. You plug it in, you charge it, and then you're good to go for a couple of hours. Not sure how many hours. And it's really fun to hoop in the evenings or dark or just change the mood. It's fun to hoop with the lead hoop. That was my Christmas gift. That was my I got to hoop a lot and gain skills, and my reward will be the lead hoop at Christmas, which I got it this past Christmas. In case you're wondering, this is being filmed February 1st, 2021. So recording on Zoom, getting a new mic, getting a sound box. You've probably noticed during the videos, it was months of adapting and learning and buying product to make it more and more efficient. So yeah, because I also teach fitness and I did teach Zoom, hula hoop on Zoom as well. I teach fitness live and on Zoom, eccentrics. So we had to adapt. We had to start teaching things on Zoom. My notes. So there's so many different, I don't have them all to show you. There's some that when you put the hoop, the Polypro, the hoop, when you put it in the sun, it's clear, but when you put it in the sun, it'll turn pink. Those are new. I just saw that recently. There's other hoops that are UV. The color of the fabric of the Polypro is so bright, like a bright pink, like a hot pink and yellows, and they're really, really bright. Then you've got others that are um, like this is just purple. There's different shades of purple. You can get them black, you can get them gold, silver, the colors of the rainbow. There's so many options with the Polypro. And then you can get the ones that are called, where is that? I don't know if I talked about the reflective tape, but the tape, you can also get reflective tape, which is what it says, what the name says. It's tape that reflects in the light, like a flash, or when somebody's walking in the dark and they have reflective tape around their wrist or something. It's that kind of idea. But the one I'm looking for is I think it's called Color Morph. I think it's also called Color Morph, like the tape, but it's the actual hoop. And one side is one color-ish and the other side is another color-ish. Anyways, it gives you an effect when you're hooping. It looks like it's changing colors, but it's not. It's just that you're seeing different sides of the actual hoop. I hope I touched on everything. I'm trying to go with all my notes here, so I'm just going to wrap it up. So to wrap it up, I touched on the different connection, what to expect when you receive your hoop. There's also that when you order your hoop, talk to the master hula hoop maker. Tell them what you're looking for. They're really good at helping you out. They're going to ask you what size you want. They're going to say how many inches ID or how many inches OD. Whatever one you pick, or just say, I don't know. But what they're talking about is diameter, D for diameter. So if they say ID, they're asking you the measurement between the inside of the diameter and the inside of the diameter. So inside to inside, inside to inside, how many inches or centimeters, depending where you're at. If they say OD, if the measurements that you see are in OD, outside to outside diameter. So as you can see, it might be an inch or two difference. So sizes in OD are from the outside edge to the outside edge. Sizes in ID are from the inside edge to the inside edge. That's what that means. I'm going to go to my recommendations as far as a beginner. As a beginner hooper, I recommend that you get a hoop made out of PE. PE for the reasons that I mentioned before. PE hoop, usually from the floor to your belly button or a bit higher, which on average, depending on the person, usually plays between 36 to 42 inches. So your beginner dance hoop would be PE, somewhere between 36 to 42 inches, depending on you as a person. And then you would have, it's good to have two if you can. If you can't, use your PE for on and off body. Practice with that for a while until you can purchase your Polypro, because I know you're going to want one. The Polypro is good, like I said, for off body, and it makes it easier to learn tricks off body. And if you continue hooping, you will want a Polypro for off body, no matter what. So it's not a waste. And my recommendation for your first one is a 3/4 inch. So the thickness here, right there, 3/4 inch. And as far as the size goes, I wrote down, this one I think is 34 inches. I didn't know much about sizes when I ordered it, but now that I do, and I did my research just to make sure it wasn't just me. It's not like I'm this superstar hooper. So I wanted to check statistically what it was. So, and my recommendation is a 3/4 inch hoop, and the diameter would be between 32 and 36 inches. And that's not too big, not too small. 32, 36 inches. Again, it's great if you try different sizes, if you know somebody who has them, to see what works best for you. So what else? Yeah. So I've covered everything. I want to mention that these are recommendations and everybody's different, but you'll also notice that maybe for 4 months this hoop's working, and then for the next month you want this type of hoop this size, and then, oh well, I'm changing, or I prefer to do these tricks now and I prefer doing it with that hoop. And this is how hoopers end up with a whole bunch of hoops, because as we evolve in our skill, we change the type of hoops that we enjoy hooping with. And there's also that as our mood changes or our life changes in general, how we hoop changes, just like a dancer, people that any creative outlet that you do, you'll change. And so it's totally natural that you'll go from different thickness hoops, different size hoops, different colored hoops, different material. I went from PE and I jumped to Polypro, and I went from small Polypro to like a huge, big diameter Polypro. I love it. And then I jumped to the HDPE. Like I'm all over the place. I finally got my lead hoop. So the 11/16 is a new one that I've been playing with, and I love the size, and I love my HDPE sectional, but I don't enjoy hooping with my Polypro sectional. So I've learned that as far as sectional goes for Polypro, me personally, I love to bring them as an option for traveling on planes, on trains, whatnot. But to hoop at home, I don't like it. I find it's not keeping its shape as well. It's like too wobbly, like at the connection. I don't know. There's something about it that I personally don't like. But my HDPA, it's thicker. It's more solid, less flexible. I can't even bend it. This is perfect. My sectional, I hoop with it all the time, outdoors, indoors. Okay. So yeah, it'll evolve. I think I've covered everything. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'm happy to, if I don't have the answer, I'll look it up. This video was made from my research, me asking questions to hoop makers and to hoopers. I mean, Deanne Love is one of them. And I also, from my own experience. So there's research done there for you to bring this information to you. And that is it. So I hope this is helpful. The one thing I didn't say is where to get hoops. So Polypro is not available in Canada, the material. The people that do have it, that sell it in Canada, they purchased it elsewhere. This matters to some people, so I wanted to say that. There's a few companies in Canada that make hula hoops. For me, right now, my favorite place is Geo Revolution. On Instagram, it's Geo Rev. She made my two sectionals, these two. She suggested this one, and she made this one. I requested that. Any hoop maker will communicate with you if you ask questions, and they will help you choose the right hoop because their work matters and they want you to be happy. So feel free to ask them questions. They know their stuff. Tell them I'm a beginner hooper. This is what I want to use it for. I know nothing about hoops. What do you think? I'm this tall. My waist is this size. Just I don't plan on ever doing tricks, or I just want a waist hoop, or I just want an off body hoop. Tell them. They're really helpful. Because their work matters. They're really good at answering your questions and making sure you're happy. That's it for me. I wish you the best on your hoop journey. Remember that it can be frustrating and it's practice and you want it to be fun. So if you get frustrated, take a breath, do something you already know, and then work on that new trick later. Put on some music. Or if it's the opposite, you don't want music, try hooping standing, try hooping sitting, try hooping on your knees. There's so much you can do. All right. We'll see you next time.